Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. We begin today with yet another mass shooting in America, yet again at a school where children showed up to learn and grow and instead wound up terrified, barricading their classroom doors or running for their lives. 17 students and educators were killed yesterday at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida, and that number may yet rise. The latest in a shameful string of school shootings in our country. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is here with the very latest from Parkland, Florida. Gabe?
Megyn, just a heartbreaking scene. The school superintendent tells me that the gunman showed up here by taking an Uber car, shot 3 people outside the school, then went inside the school, shot and killed 12 others. 2 others died at the hospital. Teachers and students huddled together. At first, some of them didn't know what to make of all this because they had a fire drill earlier that day. But unfortunately, this was no drill.
These are the unforgettable images of the horror inside the nation's latest school massacre. Authorities say the lone gunman was a former student at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Just after 2:30 Wednesday afternoon, investigators say he stormed in with an AR-15 rifle and magazines of ammunition.
We hear gunshots like that.
Freshman Brandon Carrasco is just 14, and yet he saw the unthinkable.
I saw 2 girls dead next to each other, holding hands. There was another body in front of me. There was 3 on the bathroom door.
SWAT teams swarmed the building, racing from one classroom of terrified children to the next.
We've got the patient loaded. We're going to get him out of here. Be advised, he's stating there are multiple people shot inside the building.
From students barricaded inside came heartbreaking messages to parents and loved ones.
She was sending us texts like saying, "I love you, I'm sorry," and all that because she didn't think she was going to make it.
Overnight, the FBI interviewed eyewitnesses, including senior Julian DeCosti. He and 15 other students crammed into a closet, fearing for their lives.
I'm like, I can't run, I just had surgery. And then she's like, you need to come now. So I'm hopping to her for dear life, is trying my hardest to get there. And right when I get to the door, I hear gunshots to my left.
As authorities cleared each section of the school, students were marched out of the building.
We didn't really know what was going on, but once we saw the students running, then I started to think, like, what's happening? And then I heard the gunshots, and I was like, oh my God, I just ran.
I just hope all the other kids are okay, and oh my God.
President Trump not speaking on camera, but tweeting, "My prayers and condolences to the families of the victims. No child, teacher, or anyone else should ever feel unsafe in an American school." Among the 17 people killed, a football coach. 14 others were injured. Not all of the victims have been identified.
Some of these children had no ID. They left their backpacks. There were no cell phones, so we could trace them back.
Investigators say the alleged gunman slipped off campus by mixing in with crowds of students. Police tracked him down to a neighboring city and took him into custody about an hour later.
No parent should ever have to send their kids to school and have them not return.
The suspect was booked into jail just a short time ago. He is now facing 17 counts of premeditated murder. The school remains closed for the rest of the week, but Megyn, grief counselors will be on hand nearby today.
Gabe,
Back to you.
is it true that the state of Florida is offering to pay the funeral costs now?
That's right. The state's attorney general said yesterday that the state will pay for the funeral costs here. They will also pay for the grief counselors. This community is devastated, Megyn. This is a school of about 3,000 people, recognized as one of the safest cities to live in the state of Florida. So this shock is still not wearing off. And as we continue to hear about those incredible survival stories, those incredible stories of heroism, it is just a lot to take in for this community. Again, now this is one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. It seems we're saying that well too often these days. Back to you.
Gabe, thank you. There have been at least 12 school shootings in America so far in 2018. It's February 15th. We're averaging one just about every 3 or 4 days. How we doing, America? Everyone okay with that? Apparently, the answer is, in fact, yes, because we haven't done virtually anything to stop it. We haven't done virtually anything. We all know what is about to happen right now, don't we? We're going to say how sorry and shocked and sad we are, and then we're going to move on without doing anything. And then we'll express how sorry and shocked and sad we are at the next one, and the one after that. Does anyone really think that we are going to do anything after these mass murders? I don't. I don't believe that. I don't believe in a single one of these politicians. I don't believe any of them have the courage it takes to actually push through reform. Why? Because history. And let's face it. Let's face it, it's not all on them, because we, the people, are the ones who hire and fire these politicians. So if we don't get serious, neither will they. 5 years ago, I was live on the air and pregnant with my third child when 20 first graders were shot to death in school in Newtown, Connecticut. That was the one. That was the one where we all thought, now we will do something. Now we have to change. But we didn't. In fact, since Newtown, there have been nearly 300 school shootings in America, about one a week. If 20 dead first graders don't spur people to action, what will? Yes, there was an act signed into law by President Obama just about 15 months ago targeting mental health reforms. It pushes for early intervention for kids showing signs of mental illness. But guess what? It hasn't been funded by Congress. It's a beautiful piece of paper. I'm sure it's a great comfort to the folks in Florida today. We had a woman on this show just last week jumping up and down, a mother, trying to warn people that her own son is a potential danger. She's seen it. She said he's been killing animals, consuming dark and disturbing pornography, and no one will help her. She said their social worker dumped the family after learning how disturbed her son was. What could possibly go wrong? And then there is the truth that mental instability by itself is not a great predictor of a mass shooting. Most mentally ill people do not commit murder. So even if we fund the mental health reforms, how do we find the potentially deadly needles in these haystacks who are likely to blow? Well, we could start by paying attention to things like Facebook posts with ominous gun pictures, coupled with social alienation and other red flag warning signs. But then what? Then what? Are we really going to loosen the standards for involuntary commitment in this country? Even if we could pay for that, good luck convincing the ACLU that it's legal. And then there are the guns. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. No gun reforms are getting through. They're not. And most of the ones that will be proposed in the wake of this shooting will be utterly meaningless and wouldn't have even arguably prevented this killing. The NRA is too powerful. Our politicians are too weak, and the guns are too ubiquitous. Guess how many guns there are in America? Do you know? Over 300 million. They say 6 to 10 million AR-15s, like the one reportedly used in Florida. So now we've seen it a million times. We're going to debate that gun. But any semi-automatic pistol can unleash carnage. There was no AR-15 at Virginia Tech, and that remains the worst school shooting in U.S. history. 32 dead. Nothing changed. Nothing. Can it? In the meantime, I and other parents have to send our kids to school and play Russian roulette with their lives. My children, like yours, have to practice hiding in the bathroom to avoid an active shooter, and don't even think about letting the teacher lead a prayer to get them through that moment, because the guns are perfectly legal, but the prayers are not. I wish I had the solution. One part of it is courage, to get honest, to give a damn, to maybe take that $25 billion for the border wall and, as my friend Geraldo Rivera suggested, redirect it toward this problem. How about showing any resolve at all? Any resolve at all to actually solve this problem? Wouldn't that be a start? In the meantime, we will be waiting and praying. When we come back, we will speak with one of the students who was holed up in that high school and made it out alive.